The Fed cut interest rates today, and as soon as I heard about it, I checked the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which was in a nosedive. It had only lost 232 points, but it did that all in minutes. Now, I don't know if it leveled out or what, but that's not good. And if it gets bad, it could get really bad. And I know this sounds like I'm being extremist, but and I do have extreme views sometimes, so take it with a little bit of grain of salt, but not much, because this is based on history. What happened with the Roman Empire when it collapsed is the Dark Ages. All that, running water and all those new technologies, they didn't go to the Dark Ages. They were left behind with Roman Empire. Later on, they rediscovered it and reincorporated it in society, but it had to get to the point where people had enough wealth to rebuild a society that got the Dark Ages are not somewhere anybody wants to live. So I would be prepared for that if I could be, and if I should be. So I'm just saying, what's coming? Well, if you know of anybody or anything that makes it look like the stock market might improve, or the economy, not just the numbers are bullshit. They've been propping up the stock market for a long time, which just makes it have a longer ways to fall. I guess in ancient Rome, I believe it was, they started the way they dealt with currency devaluation, inflation. The way they dealt with that was they started cutting pieces of the coin off the edge so that they could, remeld it and make more coins than there were. And it's not any different than our fiat currency. Those pieces of paper don't mean much without the value that we give them. And if the people lose faith in the dollar, then the dollar has no value. There's no gold standard. There is nothing propping the dollar up. It is a fiat currency that is not real. But we think it is, and therefore it works. So I've always kind of felt funny about talking about that. It's like, yeah, it really is that way. But what if I convince everybody that that's true? That means the value goes away and we all suffer. So then there's that. So I guess whoever's interested in listening, and if they pay attention to that, it could benefit them. I hope that it benefits my viewers, because I want to get a Patreon account one day, and then my viewers will have some money that means that is, I don't know, like money we have, it might be more of a collector's item, it might be worth, who knows, 5 cents maybe, or that might be stretching it. I don't know, usually it doesn't happen overnight, but when you see runaway inflation happen, or hyperinflation, you can see things like people needing a wheelbarrow of money to pay for simple necessities. This is what we've seen in Venezuela. We saw it happen in, it's happened in a lot of different places, and it's just like, a loaf of bread is $1,000 kind of thing. And I'm not exaggerating. This is why they're having such a hard time in Venezuela. Their currency is worthless. And no, it's not all the government's fault. If there's been some mismanagement, that's believable. But the U.S. has been sanctioning the shit out of them. to the point of them not being able to function. We're blocking medicine, we're blocking food from getting there. We're starving the civilians who are innocent to try and oust the leader because we love the civilians. We don't want them to suffer anymore. Yeah, I'm sure that rings true to those citizens who are going hungry now. Anyways, I'm ranting. It's like 120 plus a year. Two things that I know of will hold their value. Well, many will hold their value. Money won't. It won't. In the bank, in cash, it won't. There's nothing safe about money. There's nothing safe about the dollar. It's safer to investments in gold or silver. That is tangible value, not diamonds, which are priced by intentional scarcity. Really, make it intentionally scarce so they can bring up the price. Pretty cool business plan. Anyway, so that is one way. And digital, cryptocurrency, if you trust a little bit of a system, it's transparent. I don't see how it can be corrupted. Of course, the person who creates the coin can keep a good half of them for themselves, and goes up to, say it puts 10,000 on the market, but there are 20,000, and it goes from $1 per coin up to $30,000 a coin, 30,000, which is kind of like Bitcoin did that sort of thing, only it was more than that, I think. And you've got thousands of them. Well, now you're potentially a billionaire if your coins take off. But that's not a scam. It's definitely not any more of a scam than the Federal Reserve. Anyways, this is on a level, everybody knows or can know about that. And it's not theft. It's not going to affect how much the value of your coin is, unless they cash out. But that's not my point. My point is that is something that can retain its value when the dollar dies. But if you're really looking at a severe depression, which I think is coming much sooner than anybody thinks, I think we'll be in deep shit by next year, if not this year. Of course, I've been thinking we're going to go into that depression for a while. I see it coming, which there's no question it's coming. It's just exactly when. They've been able to prop the market up for years. It should have crashed in 2016 or by 2016. So it's a good 3 years at least overdue for a crash or a correction. So, tangible things that you would have to buy if you had money. Toilet paper. Some people stock toilet paper. It's a little bit bulky, and that's what gold is good for. It's not that bulky. It doesn't take much space. But if you've got the space, things like that are great. Canned food is, canned food will not lose its value unless it's, 30 or 40 years old, right? And then it might be an antique. But things that you might need to survive if the dollar becomes worthless. If you have no money at all, either you want to have something that you can use or will use in that case, or that you can barter, that you can trade out. That people will give you fresh fruit or vegetables for, like real tangible goods, things that really hold real value, and not like the dollar, which is pretend. I know we all think of it as being money because we use it as money, but it ain't money. It's just what we use as money. The real money does not exist. It's been stolen. I get this from somebody who used to guard the Fort Knox. He used to guard Fort Knox. Said a lot of planes came in and out. He said there's nothing in there. It's gone. He wouldn't specifically know because he went in. Come on, he guarded the place. I'm sure he talked to people and, it's gone. There's no money. That's why they won't allow an audit. Because that gold that we're supposed to be holding in Fort Knox, stolen long ago. I don't know who by, but if it wasn't stolen, a lot of it was. If it wasn't all stolen, and we're holding gold for all kinds of countries in the world. wait till they find out we don't have their gold. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? What are you going to do? We're America, man. We'll whoop your ass. What are you going to do about your fucking gold? Oh man, this shit's going to hit the fan when it hits the fan. Be kind of prepared. Just have some, I've got some like rations in case, like 30 days at least, or 3 months is a better idea. Just something to hold you over if all hell breaks loose. And there is no grocery store and credit cards and all of that shit. Because it's all ready to fail. One thing relies on the other, and it's all ready to fail. Don't have your money in the big mainstream banks because they have it. You have signed a paper or digitally knowing that they can take your money if they go belly up. That's legal, and that's what they will do if they go belly up. They will take your deposited money because there's no way the federal government is going to be able to bail out those banks when they fail, and they're all set to fail because nothing changed in 2008. And there is no net now. There is no bailout. So be prepared for what almost happened in 2008 with no safety net.